morning, angels. Welcome to this collective reading. Tuning in on this Sunday morning for the collective message. Calling to the divine spirits, angels. I'm going to just be shuffling here as we welcome in our morning collective group for this collective reading. Stay connected here on Sunday. I just checked the moon this morning just to check what's going on there with the planets, what the moons are telling us. So just want to connect here with the collective. Follow your intuition if you're feeling called or coming across my profile. Get grounded. If you're wanting to hear a message, keep your instincts open, your intuition. Follow what your intuition says. I'll take the Empress again. Sometimes as I'm shuffling, I start noticing patterns. Okay. So let's just keep shuffling here a little bit more, just a couple more minutes. Pentacles. Okay. See what this group, the energy of this group is here. I'm getting also like lots of intuition on your journey. Lots of kings, knights. Journey. I'm getting here like journey. Like, let's go ahead and let's pull 3 cards here for this collective, just to get a general reading, just some insight, clarity into your journey. If you guys have tuned in, normally I go here live on Sunday mornings. The last couple Sundays I was resting a little bit, but yeah, I'm excited to be in here. If you guys have tuned into these lives before, the messages will keep kind of coming through. 1 second, guys. Alrighty, I'm sorry. I had to get my cap. Here we go, King of Pentacles again. Alright, let's keep shuffling. I was saying, if you guys have been tuned into the live, the messages will keep kind of coming in. Oh, ooh, 3 of Wands. The messages will kind of keep coming in through as we go through it. Alright, so I'm going to pick 3 cards from the tarot just to get a general message about your path, about your week ahead, about what Spirit wants to tell you today. Usually I don't even do the week ahead. It's more like a blind reading. Okay, for the collective here tuning in. Oh, let me just get this. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and call into spirit the divine angels of love and light. What message do you have for this collective here? Let me just get grounded, take a deep breath. I feel like this. Okay. Just because I saw this at the bottom, I'm like, I feel like intuitively already, I'm like, rebirth. Your calling. Okay? Spirit wants you to reassess your path. Where it is that you are right here, right now. Spirit wants you to take a moment and reassess. Okay? Right now we're under the waxing gibbous moon, which is all about refinement, preparation. Let's see here. And hold on guys, I wanna like really. So the waxing gibbous, it's all about your transition, refinement, preparation. All right, and we're in this journey constantly, right? I feel like we're always in this evolvement of getting somewhere, right? New goals, new levels, new goals. Your goals are always going to be shifting because you're always shifting, right? During this time, Spirit wants you to focus on what speaks to your soul. I'm also getting like not being so black and white, right? Like it doesn't have to be a certain way. What's in your heart is meant there for a reason. And I like to use myself sometimes as an example because, again, right? We're all like reflections of each other. In my early 20s, I'm trying to see like how can I word what I'm trying to say. In my early 20s, like as I was finding myself, I felt very like, okay, I have to go to school, I graduate, I get a job, right? You feel like you have to like follow these certain guidelines or like a certain path because that was the path that was laid out for you, or that was the path that, honestly, when you really come to think of it, you're like, whose path is this? Like, you don't even realize why this path was kind of created in your mind that you feel like you had to take. But the reality is you can shift that path and you can reassess your path and just tweak it and make any changes and difference to it, and you can decide you want a completely different life right now. Like right now, right this moment, I can literally say, okay, tomorrow I want to become a veterinarian. Like just something completely, or I could be like, tomorrow I want to become a zoo person, a zookeeper. That movie came up, right? Like the zookeeper one. Okay. So what I'm getting here is like, don't be a victim of your circumstance, because you don't have to live that path. The path that you think you have to live, you're like, oh, this is how I have to do it, or this is how it should be, or this is the path that's going to make me happy. Says who? When was the last time you really sat down with yourself and was like, why did I choose this path? Do I want this path? Is this how I see myself long term? Okay, like, but Spirit also wants you kind of to like have fun with it. Like, don't take it so serious. Like how I was saying, like this path that we're on is like forever. There's no like end goal or like end path, because it's life, right? Like we're gonna continue on this path called life. Swipe, what does it say here? My life always. we're continuing on this path called life, like forever. And like I said, at any moment, we can shift, we can adjust it, we can re-look at it and ask ourselves, like, is this what we want? Are we happy with this? And when you ask yourself in stillness, in quiet, in connecting with you. Because when you're in stillness and quiet, and that's why I say that, you really hear you, and you hear the divine forces. You hear your intuition and your gut instinct. That's the divine speaking to you. That's your higher self communicating with you. And in that process, you are literally going to realize, like, what in the flip? You guys, you're starting like this whole new journey. And I say new because it's not necessarily like you're going to do a 180 like from today to tomorrow. But I feel like mindset wise, you are going to shift. You're going to start seeing it like, wait, I don't have to continue living like this. I can honor myself. And I can choose. Look at that, how we just split the deck. The Magician. Like, you literally are capable of deciding the life that you want to live. And when I say it evolves, okay, because I can tell you that even 3 years ago, what I thought I wanted has changed from now. Because as you continue planting the seeds of your authentic self, of what feels good, of when you shift and start getting to know you, and you're like, wait, what path am I following? Is this the path that I actually laid for myself? Or is this a path that I'm just either on autopilot or living somebody else's path? Just having this mindset is going to shift you from how you are going to see and move like forward. You have within you like the power to create the life that you want. You don't have to stay at a job you don't like. You don't have to stay in relationships and friendships where you feel unwanted, unloved, or you feel less than. You don't have to communicate with people that don't value your worth or don't see what you bring to the table. You don't have to do those things. You have the choice, and you have the responsibility of yourself to choose a life that you feel connected with, to choose a life that you feel authentic in, that you feel joy in, that feels like you. And that's probably going to feel like a complete 180. It's going to feel like a complete change. But you're going to realize it when you're like, it's not me. I'm getting like, again, like I like to reference like just my journey sometimes because it can like put things into perspective. So when I was like in this journey of committed to like finding my purpose, finding me, right? Like what my divine mission is, right? This is all what it's all about. I've always been someone that's been very curious, right? Curiosity will lead to growth and evolution because you're constantly curious on expanding you. So what I had done is I had taken like a course, right, on real estate, and I really felt like this was gonna be my passion because I had seen just things about it online, like, it was becoming just more like trendy and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what, I feel like, because I've always done sales, that's just like what I always did growing up, like that was like my first job. So again, I thought Okay, I thought that this would be for me because I've always done this. I've always done this path. And then when I started, I realized like my heart is not connected here. My mind was connected because I'm a very focused and hardworking person. The physical aspect of it, I was showing up. You get me? I was showing up. Because this is something I feel as well we don't talk about too much. Like, your body will also tell you when things are not in alignment. So you're like, oh, so you can think, this is what I have to do. But your body will actually also give you signals if you're not meant to be in it. But for me, where I felt it was like in my heart. Like my heart was just not connected. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Oh my gosh. Listen. I have to block this person. Okay. So okay, cool. I had to block, sorry. I was getting spam on there. Made me lose my train of thought. Okay, so that's why I tell you to sit in stillness and with yourself, because that's where you'll get answers from your higher self. In stillness and in silence, when we connect, we realize like we can be really honest with ourselves, right? Somebody said something the other day and it's coming up. I'm channeling it here for this message. They said, we wear a mask with everything in our lives, like every single person. And I was like, a mask with everything? Because when you first think of it, you're like, no, I don't. I'm super real. I'm authentic. I don't wear a mask. But think about it. When they really went into that, I'm like, yeah, it does make sense. We do. Like when you're with your parents, you know, you don't act the same with them than you do with your best friend. And when you're with your best friend, you know, you don't act the same that you do with your spouse or your significant other. And you don't act the same with your significant other than you do it like in an office or at work or in an interview, right? So we're always putting on these facades, this mask every day, day in and day out. So these moments where we get to really just sit with ourselves and just tune everything out, you can only be 1000% real with yourself. And I found that so powerful because it's true. Even with our spouse, who's like our closest person, right? Or at least for me, the closest person to me, we still have this persona or this mask that we put on. Getting really clear and getting really quiet with yourself and just recognizing, okay? Sometimes you don't even need to make all the moves right here, right now. But just recognizing when something is not in tune with you leads to transformation. Just the act of observing, okay? Just the act of observing an emotion recognizes it. And that begins shifts. That begins transformation. That begins you looking out and being like, so what does align with me? The world is my oyster. Everything is on the horizon. If you knew you would not fail, what would you do? I love that. If you knew you would not fail, what would you do? Is it what you're doing now? Relate it back to your present moment. Do you feel support? Do you feel like the magician of your life? Or do you just feel like I'm just kind of... This had come up. The Queen of Cups had also come up. Do you feel like, is this really what I want to do? Or is this like, again, like we said, the path that was like made out, the path that you felt you had to take? And this creates an out of balance, because when we feel like we're just on autopilot or doing a path because we felt like that was the right way, or we felt like that. You stop pouring into you. It becomes a path that no longer has been created by you, but just, how is it? You not doing life, life doing you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting also like, look at, as I'm cutting the cards, I love always like as I cut the cards, because I also feel like there's little subtle messages in between. And like we said, tune in with yourself, with your path. It could be life, right? Even just your life path, because everything ties in with like your career as well, right? But your life path, is it what you're choosing? Or is it because you feel like you have to? Or is it genuinely coming from love? Like, this is what I actually want to do. It can be hard to be real with ourselves as well when we felt like we thought we had this plan. Especially for some of us that may be more planners than others. Here we go again. Yeah, look. I feel like some of you could be kind of afraid of, it's normal, right? The unknown. I feel like the fear of sometimes it's not so much the changes that we're afraid of. It's the fear of the unknown, of how it will turn out, of like, what if, right? Picking that up a lot with this card too, like looking out, but not yet making like the move, like the Chariot, right? I'm looking for the Chariot because I want you guys to see like the difference of the Chariot, where it's like the Chariot, whatever the point is that the Chariot just goes for it. Like the Chariot at this point doesn't even think about it. It's just completely going towards what it wants. It's clear, it's precise. I know what I want, I'm getting there. Versus the Three of Wands, you're still kind of planning, contemplating your ideas, looking beyond and thinking, is it for me? What now? What next? Very, very on brand with the waxing gibbous moon, which is all about, like we said, reassessment, redefining, transition, perfecting your actions rather than initiating them. The waxing gibbous moon represents transition from the new moon. Okay, so more analysis for growth and for completion, which is like so, again, so on brand. So I feel like this message isn't even too much about taking an action or doing something. Like we said, just being in stillness, just kind of recognizing, looking at your path. Is it aligned with your heart? And those questions, sometimes we think those questions come up like, oh, okay, let me think about it. Yes. No, sometimes we have to really sit with it. Like, really sit with it. It takes a little bit of time. Sometimes you might not even get the answer right that day. I'm getting this with this card too, the Three of Wands. Patience. Let spirit speak to you. Let you receive the answer. Let you also fully that's what I'm saying. This is not about action, because you want to like fully be sure, fully be ready, be like, you know what? I've thought about it. I've analyzed it. It's not aligning with me. Or you know what? I've thought about it and now I know that this is what aligns with me. Because why am I picking up on that? You kind of already know, but you haven't really sat with the thought. I feel like you kind of already know what I'm talking about. you kind of already know where you're wanting a different path, and you just haven't really like sat down with it as far as like, all right, now what am I supposed to do? All right, because sometimes I also feel like we think, how can I say it? Okay, sometimes I feel like we think God will just make it happen. Okay, I feel like I listened to a Joel Osteen podcast. Actually, just yesterday. I listened to it just yesterday, and it was called "You Will Pass the Test." That was the name of the podcast episode. If you guys want to listen to it, right? I like how, like, that's what I'm saying. The way that the Fool is on the bottom of the deck, and it's still been on the bottom of the deck. This is an evolving journey. Do not put pressure on yourself. It's like, I have to have it all figured out. I have to know it like now. And if I don't do it now, we put all these things in our mind, these like fake barriers of like, this is what I have to be doing. This is the, like, if I don't do it now, like, why? This is what I'm saying, to sit with yourself, because these paths, these shoulds, these barriers have just been put in, like, we've put them up ourselves. Either from things we've just picked up on in life. It could be things that we were told in school, that we've seen, that we've read. It could be tons of things, right? But anyways, with that podcast, and I'm really picking up on this message here, and he said something so good. He was like, a lot of the times we just pray for God to make things right, or kind of like to make things go away. And sometimes he won't make it go away because he wants you to be the one. Okay? So instead of him just taking the issue away, he wants you to be the one to fix the issue. Right? Like, sometimes Joel Osteen said, we can't pray all our problems away. And I feel like this is such a good reading for that. We can't pray all our problems away, because this is your journey. Spirit wants you to be the one. Spirit wants you to be the one to take charge of it. Spirit wants you to be the one to be like, universe, this is what I want. This is what I'm manifesting. I don't know. It wants you. The universe wants you, for you to be the one that's clear on it, and for you to be the one to make that happen. And then look beyond and be like, the world is my oyster. The world is your catalog. What do you want? And what is aligning with it? What's been in your heart that feels passionate, that feels amazing? And let me tell you, I just want to say it now. You could start this like thing, and then in a couple months tune into my next live and be like, oh my God, I've evolved so much, but I'm different than what I had initially started 3 months ago. And that's okay. Because everyone's path is different, and out of mistakes come miracles. But we have to be willing to take the step, to not settle, to not just, it's like the not settle, right? Create that change. You're the one. Right? Oh my gosh. Wow. The Tower. Wow. It's your journey. Like, the universe is gonna rearrange things, right? The universe is gonna make things happen. But I loved that part of the podcast when he said, sometimes God, we can't just pray it all. We have to be the ones to take the action. He was saying it in terms of, like, he was referring to I'm trying to think exactly what it was he was referring to. It was like, basically, like, when he used an example, Joel Osteen, of a person at their job, and then like not liking their coworkers at all, and being like, oh, I can't stand these coworkers, and just going through life like that and trying to pray it away, when at times the test that the universe is giving you is for you to be the one to change your perspective, for you to be the one to make the change. So instead of just being like, oh, okay, well, I'm praying these coworkers away, what can you do? If this is the job that you want to be in forever, how can you shift that perspective to not go through life like bothered and in this low frequency? What can you adopt? So remember, this reading specifically is not so much about action taking or going out there and like just doing it. It's really more so just sitting with yourself and letting it bubble up, letting it come to the surface. Your path, where you're headed. Look at the different aspects of your life. Like, especially what it is that's on your mind that you keep praying about, thinking about. Are you aligned with it? What can you do about it? And when you start to realize, like, I am the one that really has like the power, when we stop putting that like outside of ourselves, like, oh, I'm just waiting for God to change it. I'm just waiting for God to change it. And I felt like that's why that podcast was so good, because sometimes God is like, no, you change it. You're praying about it and I'm going to deliver. But you're the one, like, physically in the 3D realm here in this world. You're the one. And not just that, Spirit wants you to do that. It's a co-creation. See? It's a co-creation. And then you look out and you're like, you're right. This isn't aligning with me. And just recognizing that is the awakening. Just recognizing that is the rebirth. So Spirit is really wanting to communicate with you. Look, as we like break up the cards, Spirit is really wanting to communicate with you. The Tower, we had just gotten that too. And as soon as you recognize this, as soon as you sit with yourself and are able to see what's in connection and what's not in connection and in flow anymore, that's when transformation, awakening, the rebirth gets to happen. When you're like, you know what, I'm gonna change this shit up. And also when you realize, when you sit and when you also realize, this is what's intended for me, it's available to you. You guys, I'm really picking up again. Recently I went to the store with my husband, right? And we went into we were at the mall. What were we there for? I'm trying to think what we were there for. What did we go to? Okay, I don't remember what we went to the mall for, but we went to the mall and we went into Neiman Marcus, which, you know, Neiman Marcus is like the luxury store, like with all the expensive things. And I promise you, mind you, you guys, okay, I live in Miami, Florida. So this is like a very shopping tourist place. So it's not like, oh, I live somewhere we're kind of remote. And when I tell you, like immediately, my witchy senses were like, oh my gosh, there is so much, like, you guys, there was so much inventory just sitting in the mall. Like, it was just sitting on the racks. Like, I don't know, the only way to explain it is it was like stale. It was like luxury items going stale. That's like the best way. And in our minds, a lot of us, right? In our minds, we're like, that's so far away. Like, that's so far from us. Like, I can never attain that because it's so expensive. you could attain it. You could go to Neiman Marcus right now. It's all sitting there on the racks collecting dust. And you know why it's collecting dust? And this is also like what I channeled in when I was there. I was like, you know why this is collecting dust? Because the majority of people, and even me at some point, didn't feel worthy of this. We felt like, oh, this is for a certain type of person, right? This is for a certain caliber or a certain person that makes this amount. I want you guys, if you can, today, go, because online doesn't do it. Online doesn't do it. I don't know. I didn't get that same feeling. If you are in person and you happen to be in a mall, please step into a store that you feel like you would never shop at. You never step into it because you feel, this is so expensive, I'm never going to come into this store. And I promise you, what you start to realize is this is why nobody comes in here. This is why nobody in the mall is in here, because they all feel, I'm not worthy of this. This is so expensive. This is so out of... And yes, that may be the truth in the 3D. Like, that amount of money might not be in your bank account and my bank account. But it's possible. It's out there for us. It's out there for us. It's out there for you to know I'm worthy of it. It's out there for you to be like, yeah, I can just make $1,000 tomorrow and I'm going to go pick up that bag. It's literally sitting right there collecting dust. So it's such a good experiment. I really want you, and when you go in, be like very aware. Don't just be like, oh, what a cute purse, oh, I love it. Because right, we guys, we act automatically. And this is what I tell you about like the lives, how like, okay, we act very on impulse. We act very not just on impulse, like from what we're used to. We operate on a belief level that we're used to, that our parents passed down from us, that our grandparents and great-grandparents, and then on top of that, that the whole world has put, you know, there's so many limiting things when I go online, like trying to tell people what they can do, trying to tell people how they should live their specific life. Like, we are all different. We are all completely different. Your wants, your needs, your desires, you are a unique expression. You're like a fingerprint. There is nobody that does it like you. There is nobody that has your experience, that has what you've gone through in life, that has the jobs you have had. And I'm talking like to the T, like the same exact amount of experience. You're unique. Like, when you really think about that, guys, the more you think about it, you're like, I'm unique as, like, there's nobody, like, you're literally one of one. Like, it sounds so, like, cheesy, but it's true. And what's available to somebody out there that's buying all the bags, that's doing all the things, that's available for you too. You're no different. They're not better. You know what the only difference is? They know their worth. Not just do they know it, they embody that shit. They embody that shit. And there's no feeling bad about it. Because why would you feel bad for what was put? Why would you feel bad for what God intended you to live? Why would you feel bad? Why? There's no need to feel bad, because when you are more blessed, when you are financially better, when you are financially doing better, you can be you can just be a better human, right? Like me being more financially better, I can help my mom, I can help the world, I can help a stranger, like, right? Nothing is impossible. I really feel like we had to finish this message with really telling you, because when you guys sit down and think about your path, think about the change, think about the uncertainties. That's like, the universe wants you to trust. And it's crazy. That's why they say delulu, like that whole delulu thing, because people think that. People think you're crazy, but you know why? It's not because it's crazy. Because they don't think it's crazy when they see someone rich. Why do they think it's crazy for you? That's because the dream was put in your heart and not theirs. They can't understand it. People can't understand. And that's why I always felt misunderstood. I always said that about myself. I'm so misunderstood. I'm so misunderstood. I always felt like that. I always felt like, and I'm sure we all have like certain things, like people just don't get me, or like, oh, they just think this way. Instead, I used to not get mad about it, but I would just get like, like, especially with my mom. We all know that like our parents just do some things, right? Our parents just make us feel certain. And I'm like, she just doesn't get me. I'm just so misunderstood. I've always been so misunderstood. And you know why? It's because I realized it's okay. The vision is put in my heart. The vision, even somebody as close as your mom. Like my mom's upbringing was completely different than mine. Like my mom's experiences are completely different than mine. Like completely different. So other people aren't gonna understand it. You are gonna feel uncertainty because when you talk about it to other people, they're not gonna get it. They're just gonna be like, yeah, that's great. You actually, that's kind of a lot. Cause me personally, I didn't receive no support. I didn't receive no support from like close friends, even close family. Nope. They don't got it. And that's okay. Because it's between you and God. And you remind yourself that I'm not gonna put my destiny or like my what I want for my future or my hope, the hope that I have for myself in somebody else. Can you imagine if just because my mom was like, oh, okay, I'm like, that's it, I'm not gonna believe in myself, like she doesn't believe in me, it's not gonna happen. Because I feel like, especially if you're a sensitive person, which I very much am, so, and I know a lot of us are, especially women, sensitive, right? Our emotions are a gift. And I know that's crazy, but I truly do feel that, especially if you're highly sensitive, your emotions are a gift. They're God's way of showing you that you're on the right path. Like how we had gotten with the Fool card, like how the Fool card was at the bottom of the deck. Like the Fool card has done the Ace of Pentacles. I love that because we had really been talking about, remember we were saying the unbalance. Yes. What is your Ace of Pentacles? Like we said in the very beginning of the reading, if you knew you would not fail, what would you do? What would you shift? What are you doing in your life right now that you realize, you know what? I probably wouldn't even be doing this. So really be in tune with yourself. No, that's such a great exercise. If I would not fail, what would I be doing? What would I do? What would my life look like? That's a better one. If I would not fail, what would my life look like? And then compare it as to now. And what is not connecting with that? What is not lighting you up? And again, sit with it. What is not lighting you up? What is not feeling connected to your heart? What do you feel in your soul? Like, this isn't even going to benefit me at all? Like, sometimes even small jobs, right? Like, I had a couple small jobs that I literally quit like after like a week, because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here. Like, it just didn't align with me, like at all. Like, the people, don't just stay in it. you know, because that's us. Number one, that's us telling the universe, like, I'm settling. I'm okay with this caliber. And also, that's not believing. That's not believing that there's better. That's not believing that the world is yours. That's not believing that it's all available to you. Go do that exercise, guys. Go do that exercise of when you're at the mall, stepping into the store. And I'm telling you, it's all waiting there. It's waiting for us to go shopping, by the way. Everything is waiting at the store for me and the 12 of you that are in here to go shopping. So let's go shopping. It's all available to us, right? But like, we have to get clear and we have to do it. Like, it's not just about thinking about it. I'm such a daydreamer, and sometimes I be doing that. But if we don't do it, then life does things. Like Joel Osteen said, the test, like, God will continue putting the test, like, in front of you to see what you're gonna do. Are you gonna stay in this, or are you going to be the one to change the perspective, change the trajectory? Oh my God. No, I promise. This is just always what happens on the lives. I just saw on Friday, you guys, The Butterfly Effect. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but if you haven't, it's on Netflix right now, and it's so, like, trippy. And just the main thing, now that I just said that, the main thing, I promise you, swear, the movie finished. And I said to my husband, because he hadn't seen it, I was like, oh, did you like the movie? He was like, look at that. Did you see the movie? And he was like, did you like the movie? He was like, yeah, it was cool. And I said, isn't it crazy how, like, because the movie is literally, I said, isn't it crazy how just one decision changed the entire trajectory of his life? Like, you guys, like, it was like his entire freaking life, like, was completely different, like, entirely. So one little decision, good morning, everyone. One little decision can completely change your life. So it is that serious. So if people are like, oh, it's not that serious, or whatever, only, like, it is that serious. Your life is serious because you matter. Yeah, it is that serious because I take my life seriously, and I want to live a life that I love. I don't want to just let life do me. I want to live a life that I intentionally created with Source, with God, because that's what was put in your heart, and that's what you're meant to experience. That's what you're meant to, yes, that's what you're meant to experience. That's what you're meant to see. Oh my God, thank you for the gifts. That's what you're meant to see. That's what you're meant to live life like. And it just feels so liberating when you're just authentically you. I promise. Like, everything that you think is gonna be a problem or an issue, it's not. It's just things that we create in our head to keep us separated from the true source. Our ego will always make us feel separated from what actually is, from love, from God. There is no separation. So I love that. I love this message for you. Okay. What is your Ace of Pentacles? What is your dream life? And if you haven't, like, dabbled in it at all, I always say, like, my favorite way to kind of just start getting your creative mind flowing is Pinterest, because you can make a secret board, and you can just start putting, and you'll notice as it changes, the more you do this stillness and connecting with yourself, the more you start to, like, discover your purpose and your fulfillment, your true happiness. The more you do this, the more it evolves and kind of changes. Like we said, even like myself from 2 years ago, like, it's completely shifted. So it's a commitment. It's trusting that as you continue to look within, as you continue to connect with source, as you continue to trust your intuition, the path will unfold. It's available. It's there. It's waiting for you to step into it. So look within and look into your mind. Like, I'm just gonna say it because it keeps coming up. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? Like, if God literally told you you're gonna have it, what is it? Start with that question and let your mind unravel. Don't put any restrictions, and be very aware when you're doing this. Sometimes limiting beliefs might come up. Oh no, but like, why would I move there? Says who? Why can't you? Because I picked that up on myself as well. Like, if I'm doing it, here we go, limiting beliefs. I picked that up when I say it on myself. Like, oh, but would I move there? Like, is that something that like would happen? Why not? Why are you even putting that? Because if you're putting those beliefs, you're not letting the Lord fully deliver. Because you're already putting this like, oh no, but I can't. Why? If you see it on others, if you see it done for others, others are a reflection. Oh, I'm just shuffling here, like, strength. Strength. Go for it. Okay? Yes. Your ultimate dream, if you knew you could not fail, if you had it all, if you completely had it all and you were like living the life, this is the journey that you are initiating. This is the journey that's starting. And like we said, it's an ever-evolving journey. Ever-evolving because, like we said, it's the journey of life. And life is life for a while. So we're here. It's our time here. There you go. Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Love it. Going towards your dreams with action. Remember, this specific reading wasn't too much about the action. But what I really picked up on this too is like this journey, this ever-evolving journey. Start thinking about, what would it look like? Again, the Ace of Pentacles. What would it look like if you had it all, like your dream? And then look at your life now. Where's the disconnect? And things will start coming together. Trust that things will start coming together. Trust that the Lord will show its way, will show clarity. The more you trust and believe, the more you connect with yourself, the more you also here, the more you gather that inner strength and ask yourself, am I on the right path? Do not just choose to stay somewhere, because you are worthy of that complete, ultimate fulfillment, that overflow of happiness. Like, you don't want to just be happy when you can be joyous. You don't want to just feel good when you can feel incredible, amazing, blessed, and full of life. There we go. The Fool, the Tower. Let those thoughts go. You are worthy of it all. Go into that store like I told you, or go through it, and you'll see it's all there sitting, collecting dust. There's so many big houses and land that is just available for you to build your dream home, to buy your dream home. There's so many people out there that are single, right? Like, for you to find your dream person and your dream relationship and your dream friendships. I see so many girls like always looking for friends, like, oh, I've lost all my friends and this and that, and they're going through changes too. Everything that you want is out there for you. And if you see it in somebody else, it's a mirror. It's a reflection of what's possible. It's not saying, oh, that's going to be your life too. It's just saying it's possible. It's there. It's available. Okay? So start thinking expanded. Start thinking expansion on your mind. And I really feel like when you start thinking that expansion, that change, that transformation, it's gonna shift from that Three of Wands energy to that Chariot energy. To, okay, you know what? I peeped what it is, and now I'm clear as a kite. Thank you guys for tuning into this live. I loved it. I loved this message for you. Connect with your higher self. Know it's all possible. Choose to live the life that's meant for you, that's authentic to you, that feels right for you. Even if one slight little thing feels off. Remember, like I said with the butterfly effect, every little thing can change the trajectory of your life, and it is that serious. And you do deserve everything that feels in alignment and pure and joyous and loving. And yeah, thank you if you were here for the first time. I also offer personal readings, and I've been seeing the number 88, and I just saw the amount of likes we got, so that's confirmation. Sending you guys so much love and light. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Give me a follow if you haven't, and yeah, sending you so much love, many blessings. Bye, friends.